Hi, today I'm going to tell you about the movie Milk Money. Be ready for some spoilers ahead. First scene takes us to a tree house where three preteen boys are putting some valuable junk into a time capsule.
I found it in my sister's room. Believe it's some kind of weapon.
With a satisfying feeling of accomplishment, the guys go to bed talking about the differences between men and women.
It's a battle of the sexes. And believe me, we are way behind.
The next morning, Frank, as adult responsible man, is helping his father to get ready for work. At breakfast, they discuss a steaming hot question whether Frank's mom was a virgin before marriage.
What are you studying? Religion?
Sex.
Surprisingly, Dad is not eager to discuss this delicate topic with his young son. Failing to find answers from the father, Frank with his friends decide to take actions themselves.
I know a place where the girls are naked all the time. Anyone with guts and $100.
The guys break open their piggy banks and make a sale of their porn treasures. Having collected the required amount, the lucky trio go to the big city. Meanwhile, some gangster dude is packing a suitcase full of cash. Having no idea how to tell a prostitute from
ballerina or a lawyer or a math teacher,
the guys begin to offer money to every woman they see. This solid plan surprisingly backfired. A suspicious guy offers to help the kids. He takes them to the parking lot and, on a reasonable question where the naked ladies, points a gun at them. This offense is noticed through the car window by some rich dude who was having an afternoon delight with a prostitute. The lady saves the day, and the rich man, taking advantage of the moment, drives away without paying. The call girl advises the kids to run like a wind, as she intends to do herself. However, noble Frank wants to help the lady, and when he finds out that she needs $100, he is ready to give her their pocket money. He says that he and his friends dream of seeing a naked woman.
How much looking?
As much as money could buy.
They take a taxi, and the lady demands to show her their armpits. The taxi driver silently freaks out from what is going on.
Okay, you're not hairy enough to be dangerous.
Kids find out that the lady's name is V. The boys come to the hotel to their new friend.
You kids see a lot of hookers?
They are burning with curiosity. Finally, the lady takes her dress off. Frank, being a true gentleman, refuses even to peek.
after sex, you smoke. It's a rule.
V returns to the pimp nicknamed Cash and gives him a bag of coins. Cash behaves like a pig, manifesting that prostitutes are not real people. After that, he goes to the meeting with other gangsters. Offended V borrows his car and gives the boys a ride home. V watches with envy the simple life of the rich in the suburbs when suddenly her car breaks down. She asks Frank to make a phone call from his house. Meanwhile, Frank's dad named Tom returns home, and you can see some instant heat between him and V. Frank tells his father that she is Brad's new math tutor. Tom offers to fix the car and make some small talk.
So, Frank was telling me what you do. Do you enjoy it?
He asks to coach his son in her area of expertise.
I'm afraid if he doesn't learn it now, he's never going to.
Tom says that he will repair the car by the morning. V goes to the town center to find some work, and all locals are staring at her. Frank approaches and says that she should not sell out herself here, offering to spend the night at his place. Later this evening, Tom tries to find the way how to fight against evil builders to keep the swamp with a unique ecosystem in the town. Dad tells his son that the math tutor lady is hottie. Turns out Frank invited V to stay in his treehouse. The boy brings her clothes, food and comic books and offers to marry his dad.
People like your dad don't marry women like me.
The next morning, while the guys are at school, V is walking around Frank's house. He got an F in biology for unsatisfactory knowledge about female reproductive cycle.
I'm giving you a second chance by assigning an oral presentation.
V learns from the news that Cash was killed for stealing money from the boss. During phone call, a friend tells her that before he died, the pimp blamed everything on V. She tries to run away, but the car is still broken. Then she takes the bike and rushes to Tom's work, where he tells the kids about the wonders of untouched swamps. Lady begs him to fix the car urgently. The boys return to Frank's house and find V taking a nice bubble bath there. She tells the guys that her pimp's heart was cut out and she's going to lie low here for a while. Frank declares that in that case he forbids her to smoke and swear. Also, she must help him with the oral presentation. At school, Frank closes the door after the teacher has left and opens the window to let V into the classroom. Using her as a visual aid, the boy clearly shows all the advantages of the female body.
Which brings us to intercourse. May I have a volunteer from the class?
At the most interesting point, the teacher breaks into the classroom and interrupts the report. Later, Frank gives V his deceased mother's dress. She meets Tom and starts to flirt with him. He returns her affection and invites her to dinner. They make a walk around the town and all the locals stare at them.
I wonder who that woman is.
She's a hooker.
At the entrance to the restaurant, they meet Kevin and his family. Turns out Kevin's dad was former V's client. V finds the situation embarrassing and runs away from her admirer to the treehouse.
What, may I ask, are you doing living in my son's treehouse?
Take off your pants and I'll tell you.
V confesses to Tom that she is a prostitute and that his son wants them to marry. The man is clearly not happy with this news and urgently decides to abandon the ship.
I'm an adult somebody teacher, and you're an adult somebody hooker that I'm supposed to marry.
The son argues that it's not important that V is a prostitute. The main point is that she is a good person and she loves ice cream and comic books. Daddy agrees with son's rock-solid arguments and calls V to the treehouse. Nevertheless, the lady doesn't want to chat and is planning to leave the town. Frank breaks into tears and V decides to stay with Tom. He talks about how he met his wife and V says that her real name is Eve. Later this night, a man who recognized V secretly sneaks to the phone and calls the pimp to book her, and by doing so he gives her location to the big gangster. The next morning, Frank finds V and his father digging some soil samples. Perfect family picture. V begins to play the role of Frank's mother until she runs into the gangster in the store. Frank manages to distract the man and he doesn't notice V right under his nose. The young woman says goodbye to Frank. And she is planning to leave town on a bus as Tom hasn't been able to fix her car yet.
I found out what's wrong with the car!
After reading a note from his son that he had gone to the dance, Tom rushes after him in V's car, and that attracts the attention of the gangster who was riding around the town all day long. Meanwhile, V also comes to the party to say goodbye to Frank, and he asks her to dance. Then Dad arrives and steals the lady from the kid. Tom asks V not to leave. V's ex-client tells Tom that her lady is a whore and the fight begins. While aroused baboons trying to win dick measuring contest, the gangster quietly kidnaps the girl. V finds out that the money that Cash has stolen was in the car all this time. Meanwhile, the boys notice that V was kidnapped. They turn on fire alarm and, using mass panic to their advantage, lock the gangster in the broom closet. Unfortunately, he soon manages to break away. V and the boys steal a car. The gangster chases them. Frank breaks down the steering wheel. By pure luck, the guys manages drive through the railway tracks before the approaching train. V and kids escape from the burning vehicle. Shortly after, the car blows up.
They blew up my bloody money!
Tom arrives in a police car and hugs Frank. He says that V is nowhere to be found.
She's gone, Dad.
V comes to the boss and asks him to let her go, and he agrees. The lady packs her things and finds out that the money was hidden in a backpack that she took out of the car. Tom chains himself to a car to protect the swamp from builders. The police want to arrest him. Suddenly, some dude arrives with a paper which says that Tom is now the owner of this land. This news makes the cops leave. Turns out V spent the mafia's money to buy the swamp for Tom. She also bought an ice cream shop in this town and she's going to move here. Frank has got his first chest hair.
I have a hair!
On this happy moment, the movie ends. What do you think about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love this video, please press like and subscribe. See you soon!